Upstate.
Oh, hello. Good morning. Happy whatever today is. It's just another day. Another day, baby. The Rob Brown Show is back on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. It is great to be back with you. We are just smiling like Luka Doncic after another knockdown three-pointer in the grill of a defender. You know, what we do. What we do. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me is the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, hashtag Dad Kicks, Colonel Grudge, the Alpha and the Omega of the Fan Upstate. He is the selling point, ladies and gentlemen. Lonzo is in charge of the board. What up, Zoe?
Sup, everybody. It's Tuesday, by the way.
That is correct.
Rob was uncertain about what day it is. It's Tuesday. I believe the NBA playoffs are back tonight.
I believe you are correct. 8:30 tonight, we'll get our first round of, or I guess first game of Eastern Conference final action. I have gone Boston in this, and because I've gone Boston and have been spectacularly incorrect about these NBA playoffs so far, Lonzo picking Miami and the correct winner based on what's been happening so far.
We'll see tonight. That's why they play the game, you know. I don't have a betting show, so, you know, you're probably better at it than I am.
Well, I got to tell you, based on my picks for the first round of the NBA playoffs, it's really good. It's a baseball betting show. I'd be in a world of hurt had it been an NBA betting show. Don't tell them I said that. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. NBA playoffs get going tonight. We've got Celtics at Heat game number 1. We're going to break that down later on in the show. We are also going to talk about the Western Conference Finals, obviously, as the Dallas freaking Mavericks, ladies and gentlemen. The Mavericks. Is Luka Doncic the future? Is he the guy? I think he is, right? He's got to be. If you got the opportunity right now, and I would ask Lonzo this, but it's one of the few questions I already know the answer to, and I don't think he can come up with a surprising answer for me. If you had to build your team right now around Luka Doncic or Steph Curry, who do you got?
Well, putting all bias aside, I'm going to go with Luka just because of age, and you're talking about building your team. I mean, Steph Curry.
How about Luka in his prime versus Steph in his prime? Who you got?
I'm still going with Luka because he's more versatile than Steph. Steph is, I mean, he can do things, but what is he known for? The three. If you take the three away, what do you get from him? Luka is an all-around player. Steph is a three-point wizard, I guess.
Wizard. Luka Doncic is the future. The guy's the best. And I watched the replay back of Game 7 with the Mavs. And I got to tell you, I think I kind of get why we like Luka as much as we like Luka. And by we, for the first time, I mean Zoe and I. I think we both like Luka the way we like Luka because Luka is cold-blooded, man. Cold-blooded. D-Book at one point, Devin Booker. The reason I thought the Suns would beat the Mavericks. Devin Booker at one point tried to knock the ball out of Luka Doncic's hands while the ball was dead. And Luka looked at him like, bro, for real? Are you for real? And then turned around a minute later, hit a dagger in his face, and Lonzo, he just laughed at him.
Yeah, people are kind of coming at him because he's laughing, asking if the laugh is disrespectful. Yeah, it is. So?
Yes, it is. And what has Lonzo said? If you don't want a guy to laugh, stop him from laughing.
But can you?
Yeah.
Phoenix could.
Yeah. if you don't want a guy to laugh because he's knocking down daggers, don't let him knock down daggers. Tee him up. Figure it out. The Suns could not. Luka laughed all the way to the Western Conference Finals. And I laughed too. You're right, Zoe. I heard earlier this morning. A guy on a nationally syndicated show, not one of ours, I'll give you that. I was listening to some different stuff this morning while I'm getting ready for work. Say it is disrespectful of Luka Doncic to be having those laughs, to be giggling like that while he's stepping back after knocking down bombs. And my response was, why?
Is the shimmy disrespectful? Is Michael Jordan doing the, I don't know why.
I don't know why I'm this good.
Was when Michael closed his eyes and shot a free throw, was that disrespectful?
Dikembe with the finger wag.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that you could consider that.
Larry Bird is the quintessential boat talker of his day, yet is still viewed as one of the greats, right? One of the most likable dudes. He was a massive boat talker. Read any story about Larry Bird from back in the day, and everybody who lined up against Larry Legend will tell you the dude loved to get in your ear and chirp a little bit. Why is Luka the guy that this is all aimed at, right? It kind of took me by surprise a little bit, Lonzo, because Luka coming out of the bubble a year and a half ago, when Luka kind of rose to prominence during the bubble, everybody was like, yo, this little Serbian kid ain't no joke. Little. He's 6'10", 6'9", whatever it is. He ain't no joke. Then, turned around, comes out of the bubble last year, becomes a really good little basketball player, and I thought Luka was quickly becoming one of the most popular dudes in the league. And now I look around, and Luka's getting smoked because he has the audacity to laugh after he makes a shot in somebody's face. Come on now.
You know, there could be the thing that it may not be disrespectful. He could just be having a good time playing a kid's game and getting paid a lot of money for it. It could be.
Maybe. Is Luka disrespectful? Stop it. I am begging you to stop it. Man, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Zoe, some people just need something to be mad at? Is that, it's got to come down to it, right? Like, I need something to have a hot take about. And considering Luka is the hottest thing going in the National Basketball Association, and there is nothing negative to say about his play, right? He's an unselfish player. He's an aggressive player. He cleans up the glass. He plays outside in, inside out. He will fill whatever role the Mavs need him to fill at the moment. There is nothing negative to say about Luka Doncic's actual game. And so the next step is you got to come up with some other hot take. And the hottest take is he disrespectful?
Well, from what I've seen trending, Lil Wayne says that Luka a hoe. That's what he tweeted. Luka a hoe.
What?
And supposedly, Mark Cuban has responded back. I can't find the exact response.
Can you say that sentence again, please?
Luka a hoe.
Lil Wayne tweeted, Luka a hoe is the sentence that Lonzo just said.
Apparently, Lil Wayne is a Phoenix Suns fan.
Lil Wayne... Yo, I can't stand Lil Wayne.
Today.
I can't stand Lil Wayne. I can't stand him yesterday. I can't stand him tomorrow. I can't stand Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is the biggest bandwagon rider in the world. He was also a Packers fan when they were making a run.
Wait. No one's a bigger bandwagoner than Drake.
No, see, at least Drake rolls with his hometown teams, right? Like he'll be cool with whatever other team is hot at the moment, but he still shows up in Canada and rolls with his raps.
You could also say the same, and this is going to make people mad, about Ric Flair.
Sure. But Ric Flair traditionally hypes Carolina teams,
No,
right?
no, not anymore.
No?
He's hyped Michigan.
Oh, he's been with Georgia. That's right.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
Yeah, that's fair. I can say about Ric Flair, too. Lil Wayne from New Orleans ditched the Saints to be a Packers fan while the Packers were hot back in the day. And I'd like to point out that they haven't won a Super Bowl since. De-exit, Lil Wayne. When he just happens to be a Phoenix Suns guy, too. You know, Zoe, like everybody else, born in New Orleans, became a Packers fan, also a Suns fan. Makes sense?
It's a common road. A lot of people follow that road.
Lil Wayne, you a hoe. I said what I said.
That might be true. I don't know.
He didn't even spell hoe right. He just spelled it H-O.
Well, I mean,
like, not only is it dumb.
It's phonetically correct. And you know, if you put another hoe on the end, it's a wonderful snack. I'm talking about ho-hos, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I'm clarifying.
I haven't even. When's the last time I had a ho-ho? Ho-hos used to be the bomb back in the day. Also, there's a song by Sia called Ho-Ho.
So what's the...
Oh, ho-hos are just knockoff Swiss rolls. That's what a ho-ho is.
I don't know which came first.
I don't know. I don't either, but I know which one's better.
Okay. I would go with ho-hos. But so I'm curious. You're saying ho is spelled wrong. What's the proper way of spelling ho in the way that he's using the word?
H-O-E.
That's
There's an E on the end.
That's a garden tool, man.
Also...
well, let me look it up in the Urban Dictionary.
Go ahead.
I'm going to.
Go ahead. Lil Wayne was sitting courtside with the Suns over the weekend. He tweeted Luka a hoe, and then Luka just went ahead and eliminated the Suns from contention. I blame it full out on Little Tunichi or whatever. Little Tunchi, whatever he's calling himself. It's on you, Wayne. It's on you. I love it. I love it. He tweeted out on May... Oh, this was from back on May 8th. He tweeted out, Luka a hoe. May 8th. So he tweeted Luka a hoe May 8th. And then Luka ran the Suns like 3 out of 4 games and bounced them from the playoffs.
You act like it's that distant. It was last week. But still, I mean...
Yeah, but I thought it was like the night of Game 7. He gave Luka the firepower to go ahead and run him the rest of the series. Just...
All right, I've looked up ho, H-O,
yeah,
in the Urban Dictionary. There's a couple definitions. One is a word that Santa Claus says 3 times. The next one is a prostitute, a hooker, a tramp, and there are other words that I'm not going to say.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Now, I will look up H-O-E also, you know, just to see, because, we want to be accurate here on this fine program.
One definition is it's a farming tool, and that's all you need to know.
Oh, the other one I see, the mother of a student who throws paper at a teacher.
Yeah.
I don't get that one, but...
Yo mom's a hoe, I believe would be the...
Yeah, but how's that? What's that even? Okay.
But scroll down, and you will find out that it's also that one.
I like this one. The person reading this is probably wondering if they are a hoe or not.
Lil Wayne got the Suns bounced, and I love it. I love it.
You would think with rap culture and everything that he would come harder than that.
Yeah, that's weak.
That's kind of like 3rd grade playground, isn't it?
That's weak. That's absolutely weak. Absolutely weak. All right. Coming up on the show today. Actually, coming up next on the show. Mainly because I want to hear Zoe's thoughts on it. ESPN has put out their way too early 2022 NFL Power Rankings, post-draft edition. I'm going to tell you where the Panthers rank and why it's wrong and dumb. Coming up at 10:20 this morning, Kyle Sullivan of the LockedOn Podcast Network is going to join us. He covers the Colorado Avalanche of the National Hockey League, but he's a big NHL guy. We'll get a Stanley Cup date with Kyle Sullivan coming up at 10:20. And we'll see what else we decide to fit into the rest of this cultured radio broadcast. He's a great one. I'm not. I'm Rob. This is the Fan Upstate. Is the Naomi Sasha Banks drama a work?
You know, the more that I think about that, Keegan, the more I think maybe, because there are rumors that Naomi would be joining the Bloodline soon, and this would be a Roman Reigns kind of move with the way the character is made, that she's not getting the respect that she needs, and then they bring her into the Bloodline. But having watched Raw, you can tell they had to rework it.
Yeah.
You can absolutely tell they had to rework it. So I think this might actually be real. But Naomi's in trouble all the time, usually for DUIs. And
Naomi?
she's been in trouble for DUIs a couple times.
I know Jay has.
Yeah, but she's been with him and
gotcha.
And been in trouble.
You're right.
And every time she's gotten a really big push, she does something to get herself in trouble. I haven't seen any arrests or anything this time. And I just think Sasha is going to go Hollywood. And Sasha she's left for a while before, and it wasn't injury related. And, you know, as soon as they say they don't want to be in the ring with a certain person, of course everyone's pointing at Dewdrop, which could be true.
Yeah.
But they had just wrestled them recently, which may make them want to say, I don't want to do it again. I don't know. All things considered, there was a Riddle promo last night that I'm not sure would have been there. It's a 420 promo in a room full of smoke that you need to check out, which I'm not sure would have been there. And
RK Bro 420 says, we just smoked your ass, bro.
So fantasy booking, the most unexpected thing that would make Rob just explode. The It's being set in motion. It could happen. Riddle dethrones Roman Reigns and wins the championship.
I kind of actually would love it because Riddle as champ getting time every week would be greatness. Greatness.
He's been getting a big push on his own lately, including last night, and has been looking better and better in ring. He already looked good anyway, and I think Randy might be retiring soon because I think I think the fact that Riddle is using all his moves, and seems to have his blessing. Because you don't want to see the RKO go away when he goes away.
True, but I also kind of don't want. I mean, look, he's turning on Riddle before he leaves, if he's leaving.
Maybe. If he didn't, that also would be a big shock. He's going to lose eventually. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday, Tayshawn, about Patrick Beverly.
Who was he? He was talking about CP3, right?
Yeah, he was.
I think he's mad because Pat Bev thought he was like supposed to be the dude in these playoffs, and then CP3 brought his 37-year-old behind and smoked chumps until he did. Tayshawn showed up in the live chat, said, I also did not appreciate Patrick Beverly talking trash. He needs to lay off the haterade. Patrick Beverly came in guns blazing, and he came for CP3. Here's what I do know. Zoe, what I do know is I can't take Patrick Beverly talking smack seriously when he's wearing a short-sleeved sweater. Bro, if you're wearing a sweater, put sleeves on it.
What if he
short sleeve sweater?
What if he knitted the sweater himself? I mean, would that make it a little bit more okay?
No, why'd you stop?
Oh, I
like it'd be like if I'm going to the grocery store and I drive halfway there and then I just stop and go, okay, no, finish it.
I put all the sweaters away when I moved to a warm climate. And by away, I mean, in the fire pit.
Yeah, no, I'm not anti-sweater.
Oh, I am.
I like a good sweater. I've got some sweaters. I like a good sweater.
There was ridicule rather that I suffered when my children saw my senior picture in a sweater, and so
Gotcha.
Can't be having that anymore.
Yeah, no, can't be bullied by your own children. I'm not anti-sweater guy. I'm just like Pat Bev has a sweater on that stops at his biceps, and then a long sleeve dress shirt on underneath it. Why? Why?
You can't start a trend. Someone has to start the trend. I mean, a trend starts somewhere, and maybe he's trying to be a trendsetter.
Lonzo, just if I run around with hallways with my junk flapping, nobody's going to go, what a trend.
No one will notice. You go right ahead. You can take that however you want, but no one will notice.
That was a sick burn, my guy. Good burn. Good burn. Doing a very sophisticated radio show today. I like it. I like it.
Am I the only one who doesn't care that much about people talking stuff on social media? That's what people do on social media. And so an actual player is talking stuff about another player on social media. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. I mean, KD tried it with his burner accounts, but he was more trying to defend himself,
So here's the thing. I got no issue with smack talk. No issue with trash talk, right? No issue with trash talk at all. Where you lose me is dudes who have no right to smack talking, right? Like, what has Patrick Beverly got that lets him make runs at CP3? Like, I don't know, man.
Youth?
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Why? Here's the other part. There's one thing I don't appreciate about a lot of smack talkers and also many broadcasters. It is a lot of folks that take pot shots. This is what we were talking about with the Luka thing a second ago. A lot of dudes who take pot shots at whatever the story of the day is, right? Like they can't come up with their own thing, so they just take pot shots at whoever the big story was. CP3 was the big story. Don't get me wrong, there's some people busting up on Chris Paul, and it's fair. Chris Paul disappeared down the stretch for the Suns. It's taking pot shots at Luka because he's on top, and taking pot shots at CP3 because he's been knocked down. Which, I don't know, man. I got nothing. Patrick Beverley.
He'll get back up. You can't keep him down. You can't.
Never going to keep him down.
Never going to do that with CP3.
Why? Like, why is Pat Bev doing this? And why is, for the record, every person that I've stumbled across going, Luka's trash talk is disrespectful and it needs to stop. Why is it always old guys? Why? And I'm not saying that like, oh, old people bad. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is half of the legends of this league, Mike, Larry, Magic, the entire Bad Boys, they were all boat talkers, all of them. Like your generation taught this generation how to talk smack. Larry Bird's legendary for talking boat. Legendary for it. Michael Jordan's best moments are coming up talking boat after a crazy reverse underneath the basket layup, a finger shrug, shooting free throws with his eyes closed. The last generation taught this generation how to talk smack. And now they're writing all the hot takes about how bad Luka is. How bad Luka is. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't understand. I don't know. Am I missing something here? Zoe, like when is it just because it's Luka and it's hot topic, it's fresh right now that people are making runs at him? Or have we gone soft in the league that Luka laughing after another dagger is now somehow the biggest crime in basketball?
It sounds, I mean, it's just a bunch of jealousy. It is. And what better place to vent than social media where everybody goes to vent? Why not? They may really be hurt in a couple weeks when he's raising that trophy because it very well could happen.
It could. It could. I said a week ago, I did not believe in the Dallas Mavericks, and then they went and bumped the guys I thought were going to win the whole thing. Texas says, I'll give Reggie Miller credit. He loves when players talk trash and respects it. He defends it when he's doing play-by-play. I've seen it. I've seen it. I think if you've played basketball, you know how the smack works, right? Like, you know how it works. As a matter of fact, yesterday, I was driving over to our party because winners have parties, and we're winners. And I heard the MARC, Mark Ryan, not Ryan, talking about.
Is he calling himself that now? Or
No,
you
I
just
call him
kinda,
that.
okay, all
No,
right.
I call him
because that's actually kind of cool. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you know he didn't come up with it. See, that's smack talk. That's fun between shows. And he was talking about the fact that, you know, there's smack talk versus having a genuine beef, right? And there's a difference, right? Mark and I smack talk each other, but we also, yesterday afternoon when he showed up at the party, sat down and had a drink together. Diesel and I talk smack to each other. We also sat down at the party yesterday and had a drink together and organized our next golfing trip because Diesel is a golfer. All right? Don't let him fool you with all this, I'm a hardcore metal guy. He's a golfer.
And by the way, I wasn't included in any of that because I don't drink and I was bowling alone. But that's just
First
me.
off, you weren't bowling alone.
Oh yeah, I was. There are 2 games all by myself. Everybody else just the halo was real. It's real. Or it could be.
I think you left before they got there, though, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
No?
No, I didn't. But that's again, Halo and suddenly invisible. But that's fine.
I know for a fact Miss Lisa was there. I talked to her.
See, he remembers my wife was there, but he can't remember that I was.
I bowled a game. I bowled 2 games.
No,
with
you bowled 1 game with me, and then I won, and then you just
you did.
You just like
I was not thrilled about that. I put 4 closed frames together to open the game, and then just choked. That was bad.
Really? Is that what it was? Is that what you're going to go with? I would go with that. You challenged me, and then I just,
Yeah.
I did what I did, and then suddenly no one wants to bowl with me anymore.
You know what happened was I channeled my inner Luka, and then I fell apart. I put 4 marks on the board to start. I started hitting the LeBron game's over, and then I just fell apart, and Lonzo kicked the door down.
How come it's always, that's a half a point. How come it's always, not, it wasn't, I wasn't on my game. It's not the fact that maybe the person.
Because you are better than a 129. I've seen you go better than 129 most of the time.
I bowled better than 129 in that game. It was 139, but that's, that's fine. I did, what you do what you need to do to win the game, and then people disappear. That's just what happens, and you're on an island all alone going, man, I'm good.
Texter says, is Zoe talking bowling smack? You must be new here.
And Diesel shows up, and I'm thinking, okay, here's the challenge. Here's a guy that we saw improve over and over again. What's he do? Ignores me. That's fine.
So for the record, Diesel shows up and Lonzo says, "Oh, here's the challenge."
Well,
got it.
Because you walked away and went over and
walk away.
Yeah,
I was schmoozing the bosses.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to do that. So
Oh well, must be nice.
I don't know if you noticed the color of my hair. That would be
nice.
Golden.
Some of us do have to schmooze the bosses. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute from right now. And when we do, ESPN has put out their way too early NFL power rankings. They ranked the Panthers in a spot that I went, what? No. Come on. When we come back, I'll tell you what made me say, what? No, come on. That's a tease. We'll pay it off on the other side. It's worth it. Stick around. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. He's the challenge. I'm just the guy. It's the Fan Upstate. We have not talked about that quite yet, Skrilla, but it is on the show prep. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. I love it. I think that, the Suns tried to get into Luka's head and failed miserably. And then Luka's just like, I don't care about your feelings anymore, and I loved it. Oh, no. Were you going for the bounce?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I imagine it can be done. That was painfully close. Uh-huh.
I know it's the right strategy.
Execution's tough.
One more and then I'm done. Oh!
Did it go?
Yes.
Did it
Yes,
go?
it did. Yes, it
Dang!
did. On the ground, do you?
Kobe. How'd you do it? What was the angle? Just straight in?
I went underhand, like horseshoes or
Okay.
what you call it?
Spiraled or?
No, I just went like this.
Okay.
Flipped it, and it hit the front lip, bounced against the wall in the back, and then went in.
That's it. That may be your best shot so far.
Yeah, but did it really happen? Because no one saw it but me.
I mean,
I know the evidence is there. It went in,
as you said,
and I was still standing over there. There's no way I ran up there, put it in, and ran
Right.
back by the time you turned around.
as you said, it ain't on the floor, is it? Oh, okay. So there's a guy texting in that says there's a guy doing private telescope research on the moon, like not on the moon, aimed at the moon, and that there are hundreds of cities on the surface of the moon that you can see. Cities, wholesale cities.
From the moon or on the moon?
On the moon that you can see. And there's a guy named Bruce who's doing private telescope research to prove it.
Are they Decepticons?
Based on movies starring not Shia LaBeouf. Who was in the Transformers movies? It was
Shia LaBeouf was when they were good.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf was in
Yeah.
it. When they took his crazy self out of there, it was not good anymore. They put in Mark Wahlberg, not his fault, but then I gave it a shot. It's like, yeah,
Mac Wahlberg.
need Shia back. Bring back the crazy.
Texter says, if you want to know where the aliens come from, look to the moon. Bruce Sees All is a private telescopy? I
I had one of those ones you have to do it when you get 40.
Bruce Sees All is a private telescopy research of the moon. He shows UFOs by the hundreds with cities on the moon. Look first at New Cities of Sinus Iridium. He has 4 years of archives. You must see this. Well, if you don't think I'm not going to YouTube to look up Bruce Sees All.
I'm already there. So.
And what do we got? Is it a channel?
Oh, it's definitely a channel.
Let's go.
It's a well done channel. It appears to be.
Let's go.
Professionally done.
Okay, let's see. Are you going to show me cities on the surface
Wait,
of the moon?
wait. Just look at the logo for Bruce Sees All at the top of the YouTube page. It's
amazing.
And there's like the sun in the middle. I mean, it's well done. I don't know if that's indeed Bruce.
He's got 92,000 subscribers. It's pretty impressive. I'm at like 200. I guess I just need to go make up that I see stuff on the moon at this point. Oh, we got fireballs. We got chemtrails. Here's one. UFO fleet maneuvering inside of chemtrails.
Yes.
Listen,
yes.
If that UFO is piloted by Bigfoot, you have hit the entire piss off Rob Brown bingo card. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, he's got like a full-blown intro and everything, Lonzo. This guy's spectacular. All right, let's see here. I got some clouds. There's some chemtrails that are definitely chemtrails. Oh, there's a thing, Lonzo. There's a thing in the sky, and it turned left. Must be Bigfoot traveling to. All right, I'm going through Lonzo. All I'm doing today is watching those after the show today.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm going to go back here later.
Yep.
I might even leave it up, see if we can get Diesel hooked.
Yep.
Yeah, this looks interesting.
I think Bruce is texting to the show because this text about Bruce has come in about 90 times in the last hour and 42 minutes.
Is this directed at our show?
Nope.
Or yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep. And I need to know why.
More proof as to what I told you a few weeks ago, and you scoffed at it, that it's not just politics over there.
Well, I have my theories. I'll leave them on the table.
All right, fine.
I have my theories as to why this is coming up. It's being
it's obviously it's disinformation, and you're going to be part of it. You're going to scoff at it because we know you're either an alien or a robot or both, and so you've been planted in a position where you can poo-poo everything that's come up that looks realistic and go, no, nothing to see here, which reminds me of Mars Attacks for some reason. Yeah. Translation: nothing to see here, while he's trying to shoot the guy the whole time.
All right. Let's go. The Bruce text has come in twice since we stopped talking about it. Stop texting the show, Bruce. We get it. All right. ESPN put up their way too early NFL power rankings. And they're way too early. Okay. Let's start at the top. Mainly because the team I want to talk about is at the bottom. They open it up with the Buffalo Bills, power ranked as the number 1 team in the National Football League. Talked about the drafting of, talked about the benefits for Cody Ford because he has been the biggest veteran on this offensive line, and they've now stacked some guys around them. They got wide receivers. They got talent. I don't quite know that I'm ready to say Buffalo's the best team in the league. It's fine that they're up there. They got the LA Rams 2. They got Tampa Bay at number 3. Tom Brady and his boys are back. Kansas City ranked just behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Chiefs brought in a couple of defensive players, but obviously they lost Tyreek Hill. Kansas City at number 4, I think, as much as you may not love it, Lonzo, is pretty damn fair, to be honest.
Do you not think Juju's any good?
I think Juju benefited a lot from a scheme, but
they just brought him in. Unless I'm wrong, I could have swore I saw that like a month or two ago, after
they did.
left. So
they did.
You talk about benefiting from a scheme. Any receiver in that scheme is going to benefit, and having Patrick Mahomes as and even before that, in Andy Reid's scheme, you're going to get some good receptions. Cheetah made a mistake, but we'll see about that.
Cheetah made a mistake.
Which they do.
Did you see the video that everybody lost their mind about last
No,
week?
I'm not looking at it because I don't need to.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It shows Reek going down the field. It shows Tua clearly underthrow him by like 10 feet. Tyreek has to slow up and wait for the ball to get to him. And look, at the end of the day, it's not the big, because it's a launch of a football. Like Tua goes deep to Tyreek Hill, but it clearly shows Tyreek having to slow up and catch the ball, not in stride.
Really? That's what everyone's talking about? I mean, come on. I think you're being hyper picky.
You think I'm being dramatic?
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everybody making a big deal. We know that it's going to be a problem because we know Tua is not Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, that's the beautiful thing about it is why, if you were the Dolphins, why would you post the one video that shows the problem everybody thinks you're going to have? Now, the good news is, and props to Ty Hill, as he goes by on Twitter, Ty. Props to Ty, who tweeted out, "Can y'all chill or nah? We talking about practice. #Dimes, #Uno, #SoulRunner." And then tagged Tua in it. And then showed a bunch of clips of him running routes and Tua dropping dimes on him.
#missing Arrowhead. #missing Patrick Mahomes. #missing Andrew Reid. Hey, but you already got a Super Bowl championship. Now you got paid. Good for you.
Fair enough. All right, Green Bay's at number 5 with Aaron Rodgers coming back. Cincinnati, number 6.
Still, all things considered, I know they were in the Super Bowl, but 6 is still pretty good because they were ahead of schedule last year.
They were ahead of schedule last year. You're exactly right. LA Chargers, number 7 in the power rankings, unless we're power ranking draft release videos, and then clearly number 1.
Well, yeah, without a doubt, but I'm not believing the hype about the Chargers because of what division they play in.
I'm not believing the hype about number 8, the Dallas Cowboys. Can y'all stop? We gonna do this again. Again, it's Dallas will compete for the NFC. And again, Dallas is going to finish up just a tick over 500, maybe sneak in as a wild card and do nothing again. But run it back one more time, everybody in the media who needs to kiss the Cowboys square betwixt the cheeks.
Why do you hate America's team, Rob?
First off, they're Dallas's team. It's right there in the name. I'm reading it. It says Dallas Cowboys, not America Cowboys. Anyway, actually, I do think they're going to be pretty good, though. They are going to be pretty good. Micah Parsons is a stud. DeMarcus Lawrence is there. Dante Fowler Jr. has joined up. They are going to be tenacious attacking the pass.
Yeah, but what's their offense going to be like?
Correct.
Are they a running team still? Because I don't know. Are they?
I mean, if it's up to Dak, no. But is it? We'll find out. Number 9, San Francisco. Number 10, Baltimore. Number 11, Tennessee. Number 12, the Denver Broncos. 13, Vegas. 14, Indy. The Patriots, 15. The Eagles, 16. The Browns, 17. The Dolphins, 18. The Cardinals, 19. The Saints, 20. In what world are the Saints worse than the Dolphins? Please tell me. Now, the reason I did all these and brought this up before we get to the next segment is because in this postseason or preseason power rankings where they have the Dolphins better than the Saints, okay, they have got ranked behind the New York Giants, behind the Jacksonville Jaguars, behind the Houston Texans, behind the New York Jets, and behind the Detroit Lions. Number 32, the Carolina Panthers. Dead last in the league, according to ESPN. Dead last.
Wow, so Carolina is worse than Jacksonville.
Worse than Houston.
Worse than Detroit.
Jacksonville, Detroit, the Giants. Worse than all of them, according to ESPN. The worst team in the league, according to ESPN. Here's what they write. David Newton covered this one. He said this could go either way. Darnold benefited in that Carolina made left tackle Akeem Ekwonu, the 6th pick, strengthening an already rebuilt line that gave up 52 sacks a year ago. Darnold is best when not under pressure. That's the type of analysis I'm here for, Alonzo. Your quarterback is best when he's not running from defensive lines. That's the type of analysis that sets you up to go, Carolina's the worst team in the league. Deal with it. Stop. At the same time, the Panthers traded back into the third for Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral, who will become the fan favorite to start if Darnold falls back into habits that have haunted him through his first 4 NFL seasons. This is Darnold's job, but only as long as he produces, end quote. It sounds to me like the only reason you bumped the Carolina Panthers to 32 was because Sam Darnold's bad, which, don't get me wrong, yes. I was as was David Tepper, as was Matt Rule, I was quite optimistic about Sam Darnold showing up. Quite optimistic about Sam Darnold showing up, right? Very optimistic about it. And then it didn't work out. Matt Rule took a chance. David Tepper took a chance. Scott Fitterer took a chance. It bombed. It happens. It's the league, right? So they went out, they drafted their new guy, they drafted well, they got a new quarterback, they got a new offensive lineman who was the baddest dude in the draft. They played it well. And I know you don't want to project based on what you think a rookie's going to do, especially an offensive lineman, but do not try to sell me that the Panthers are worse than the Jags, that they are worse than the Lions, that they are worse than the Texans. Have you watched the Texans? Because I have, and they're really, really bad. Really bad. By the way, Zoe, at 31, just ahead of Carolina, the Atlanta Falcons. The Panthers are going to go 2-0 against the Falcons this year. All right? The Falcons got some interesting options offensively by bringing in that new kid at wide receiver and pairing him up with Kyle Pitts. They got some options. Marcus Mariota. That's your starting quarterback. 32nd in the league, you got the Panthers. Behind Houston, Jacksonville, Detroit. What? Are you kidding me? Take a break. We can address more of this when we come back. Plus, a ghost story out of baseball involving actual ghosts. That's next on The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Holy smokes. She first pitched over the net behind home plate. How do you even do that?
Is this a celebrity or is this a softball
No, that's
game?
Steve Aoki. He's a very famous DJ. And clearly you can see why he's not a baseball player. Oh, they had to trot back out the 50 Cent first pitch.
I thought you said she, so that's what.
I thought it was initially until I saw the name, and I'm like, oh, that's
okay.
Steve Aoki. I guess I need to change to the new Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we need to switch that back there because I had to take it down because it keeps hesitating, and then
So it was not the cable, it's just the...
Well, no, I think the cable thing that worked. The TV is dying, but it is big time sluggish today.
Is the new one Odyssey GSP, correct?
Yes.
If there was a promo of the year awards that I judged, this would be in contention. Steven, welcome in, big dog. Appreciate you. Good to have you. As always.
Black us out for a second.
Sure. Man, check this out. For the record, I've got no reason to, attack nor defend the Carolina Panthers. I'm not a fan per se. But I do want them to do well because, as I've told you many, many times, what happens when local teams do well for me and Lonzo? Scratch, cheddar, ducats, paper, money. We get more of it. We get more of it. When the Panthers are good, I get more money. When Clemson's good, when South Carolina's good, when Wofford's good, when Furman's good, when the Swamp Rabbit's good, when the Triumph's good, when the Drive are good, I get more money. Now, for the record, I'm also fans of those teams to some degree, right? The local teams anyway, the Drive, the Swamp Rabbits, the Triumph, obviously. I get more money when those teams are good. But I also have a job to do, and that job involves me talking sports and telling you what I think. What I honestly think is that the Carolina Panthers are not the worst team in the National Football League.
I was going to say, was there confusion there? Did someone think that you thought that?
I had one guy write in. It's like, oh, of course you'd bring up this story because they're last. Because you want to bash them. What? No. Did you not?
It's more like pointing out how stupid ESPN is for putting the Panthers dead last behind the Jags, behind Detroit, behind the Giants, and there's other teams that they should be ahead of.
Yeah. But generally, the point of that segment was this is a bad take. Dead last in the league. 32nd are the Carolina. Get out. Get out. Now, you want to argue that they're behind Atlanta? I'll hear the argument. That's fine. Don't try to tell me that the Detroit Lions are better than the Carolina Panthers. Where do you get that from? Where do you get that from? They were 3-13-1 last year. Effectively, a 14-loss season for the Lions.
I think they like Detroit's coach better. I think that's why.
Maybe. They drafted Jamison Williams, who's going to be a stud if his leg heals up. He's the one that popped his ACL in the national championship game. Kind of stemmed the tide of the tide in that game. Jamison Williams can be a stud, but Jared Goff still got to throw him the ball behind that offensive line that they built up there. What? You got them behind Detroit. You got them behind the New York Jets. The New York Jets. They got an offensive line that would not stay healthy last year. I'm not saying Zach Wilson can't be the dude, but he hasn't made the impact yet you'd like him to if he is the dude, right? Carolina Panthers aren't better than the Jets. The Texans. Davis Mills. Now, speaking of Alabama wide receivers, John Mechie is there. He'll stretch the field for you a little bit. Dameon Pierce was expected to be one of the better running backs in the draft. Got him all the way back on day 3. But is Davis Mills the long-term quarterback for the Houston Texans? Is he the guy? I'm not saying he's not. But does Davis Mills inspire you with more confidence than the Carolina Panthers offense right now? Our buddy David Rhodes, host of the Panther Nation podcast. Rashad Beard will join us on Thursday like he usually does. He sent out a tweet today, and he's like, we are not the worst team in the league, but I get why the national media thinks that we are. Lonzo, do you get why the national media thinks the Panthers are the worst team in the National Football League?
No.
I don't either.
No, I don't.
I mean, listen, everything I've read, Matt Rule is probably the next coach to get fired. I got no problem with that take, right? Matt Rule's job's on the line. Lonzo has said he thinks he's got one more year, at least, after this one. I've come around to thinking Lonzo's probably right, honestly, that this is not the break or make year for Matt Rule, but the national media thinks it is, which is fine. So I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if Matt Corral is the guy, right? I don't know if Matt Corral is the guy. I know he's athletic. Remember, that's one of the things that the Panthers liked about Sammy D. He's athletic. He can make moves. In fact, last year, one of my favorite things to bring up, Lonzo, was that through week 5, Sam Darnold led the league in rushing touchdowns. Part of that was because the offensive line was so bad that Sam Darnold had to run for his life more than any other quarterback. No quarterback wants to lead the league in rushing touchdowns, because if they're doing that, it means they're running a lot, which means they're getting set up to be hit a lot. No quarterback wants to lead the league in rushing touchdowns. They don't want to do it. Sam Darnold did, which is a problem for Carolina. But Matt Corral comes in with what I think is a better ability to read the defense than Sam Darnold. And don't get mad at me for taking that out on Sammy D. Remember, Sam Darnold was the guy. Do you remember the quote from, 2 or 3 years ago? They were playing the Patriots, and Sam Darnold got caught on the sideline saying what? I'm seeing ghosts out there. He said, I'm seeing ghosts. He wasn't talking about literal ghosts because ghosts don't exist. But he was seeing defenders that weren't there. He was seeing his routes get jumped by guys that weren't there. That was the moment. Look, I said I was optimistic because some guys just need a scenery change. Some guys just need a scenery change. Some guys just need to go somewhere else. How many NFL players have we seen suck in one locale, get onto another team, and suddenly revamp their career? I was optimistic. That Sam Darnold, with a change of pace, a change of scenery, and getting the hell out of the Adam Gase way in New York would be the revamp he needed. It was not. It wasn't. Now, you can chalk it up to, and should, it's for the record, these are reasons, not excuses. You can chalk it up to the Panthers having a bad offensive line last year. You can chalk it up to how much more aggressive can a defense be when they don't have to contain Christian McCaffrey. You can chalk it up to Robbie Anderson went MIA on us for stretches of games last year. All of those are justifiable reasons that Sam Darnold was held back a little bit. But, Lonzo, was there anything out of Sam Darnold last year that you could look at? Was there anything out of Sam Darnold last year that you would circle and go, this is why I'm confident in him this year?
The optimist in me would say the rushing touchdowns that you talked about.
Sure.
If you don't want to win, you don't try to get in the end zone. So he wants to win.
Oh, listen, I don't think I can question Sam's mentality or desire, right? That's why a week before the draft, when they're asking him questions about the quarterback situation in Carolina, he's like, why, and I'm paraphrasing, but effectively was like, why would I go into this week thinking I'm going to be anything but the starter next year?
But the thing is, the coaching staff killed his confidence. They had to a degree by benching him a couple times last year. When you get benched as a starter in the NFL, you kind of don't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, part of that was you brought back Cam, which I understood for two reasons.
And why'd you bring him back? You bring him back. Well, Darnold was hurt. Darnold was hurt. Yeah,
he was going to be out for a few weeks, and Cam was the best available option because P.J. Walker had his chance, and he just didn't perform. So you bring back Cam, which accomplishes two things. Number one, he was the best available quarterback at the time. Number two, it kind of let the Panthers get a little PR victory for all the Panthers fans that thought Cam did dirty on his way out the first time. Bring him back, give him a little love, put him up on the big board, etc., etc. So, Sam Darnold basically and effectively paraphrased said, why would I assume I'm going to be anything but the starter? I don't think I can question Sam Darnold's desire, his drive, his dedication, his want to win. What I can question is his ability to do so, right? Lonzo, trying to think of the right word here, fallacy of life. You know what the biggest lie you will ever be told is? You can do anything you put your mind to. No, you can't. No, you can't. And that's okay. When I played high school basketball, I was the first dude in the gym every practice. I was the last dude out of the gym every practice. I busted my rear end to be the best high school basketball player I could be because I wanted to play college basketball. Do you know where my scholarship offers came from? Nowhere. because I just wasn't that good. I was a good little role player on the high school team, man. Throw me in there when I need to get a foul. Throw me in there in some garbage time. Throw me in there when you need that dude that's going to go scrap for boards. Throw me in there because I'll take a charge for the team. But I wasn't very good at basketball. On the flip side, there was a cat who rarely showed up for extra practice, who rarely showed up for anything other than what he was mandated to do, and on game day. And even on game day, he'd roll in 10 minutes before the game, play the game. He's out of there 5 minutes after it's over, right? Guy didn't give a good gosh darn about the basketball team other than himself. He was a selfish player. It was all about him all the time. Now, I'm the type of dude that had the mentality and the heart that coaches tell you they want. He's the type of guy that they go, oh, you give me 5 guys with heart over 5 guys who are all extremely talented, but they don't play together. Yeah, that's crap. This guy got offers from USC. He got offers from Tennessee. He got offers from big schools, and he decided not to go. Do you know what he did instead? Stayed home and sold grills out of the trunk of his car. You can't be anything that you want to be because sometimes you just don't have the talent.
I'm not trying to make light. I'm not. But what kind of grills? Does it kind of go in your teeth or?
Yeah,
or
they
just...
like clipped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a
not like
a
grills.
Weber, Weber.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he wasn't selling Coleman's.
He didn't have hibachis in the trunk.
No, he was selling grills for your teeths out the trunk of his car. Like legit, he'd drive his car to your house. He would, I mean, in fairness, it was a good operation. He'd drive the car. He would mold the grill for you, like with the putty stuff. He'd mold it for you, and then he'd leave. And then a week and a half, 2 weeks later, he'd show up at the house. Here's your gold grill, molded to your own teeth. Clip it right on. My man had a good operation going, and he had it going because everybody in town knew who he was because he was a great basketball player.
Okay.
The point was, that guy didn't really care about basketball other than it got him all the attention in high school. And when it came time to go to college, he just didn't want to do it. Which, hey, your life, Bubba. Your life. I played with a 7'2" kid named Michael Doe. Mike was one of the greatest human beings I've ever met. Phenomenal dude. Mike was 7'2". Mike got a scholarship to play at Western Kentucky. He was a hilltopper. Played 4 weeks of basketball, and then went, I don't want to do this. I hate basketball. 7'2", walked out. And I'm like, everybody was mad at him. Mike, what are you doing? You're 7'2". Play basketball. Mike said, I don't want to play basketball. I was like, all right, dude. Do you, man? He said, I don't like basketball. It's not my fault. I'm 7'2". I don't like basketball. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The point is, Sam Darnold, somehow I ended up here. The point is, desire, drive, dedication, that's all nice and good. It's all stuff that's fantastic to have, but it is irrelevant if you don't have talent, ability, skill, right? Rob Brown went into that gym and put in hours of extra work every day. Every day I was in there. You know what I got out of it? I was in really good shape when I graduated high school because I played basketball all the time. No scholarship offers, though, because I sucked. Sam Darnold has dedication, desire, drive, and I respect all that. My dude busted. I'm not taking that away from him. What he doesn't have is a football acumen, the ability to play at an NFL caliber, and that's okay. There ain't but maybe 20 people in America that are good enough to be NFL quarterbacks. You'll notice I said 20, not 32, because there's always 10, 11, 12 NFL quarterbacks that have to start, and they ain't worth starting. Sam Darnold, I'm sorry, great dude from what I can tell. Bust his hump from what I can tell. But he doesn't have it. All that being said, the Carolina Panthers still aren't the 32nd best team in the National Football League. They're not. They are better than Houston. They are better than Detroit. They are better than Jacksonville. These are statements of fact, not questions. Let's take a break. When we come back here in Uno Momento, we're going to be joined by a friend of mine both on and off the air. Kyle Sullivan covers the Colorado Avalanche for the LockedOn Podcast Network. He hosts a show called LockedOn Avalanche. However, he's a Stanley Cup guy overall, and we're going to talk some hockey playoffs.
All right, I got to be honest here. I'm not sure we can take a break.
Did we?
The system just shut down.
Really?
I can push a button and see if the music plays.
It's up to you. Kyle's ready. We can do that, or we can just roll on. Zoe, you tell me.
Yeah, no music.
No music.
So the show goes on.
Fantastic. Good thing I booked a guest right here. What convenience that has turned out to be. Let's bring into the show now. He is on the stream. No, he's on the stream.
Oh, my bad.
No,
there he is.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
there's Shaggy Von Doom right there.
Just a little panic when you look up and your entire system just shut down on you right when you're going to break. Yeah, there we go. All right.
Chaos. Keep it interesting.
Just a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the LockedOn Podcast Network, he covers the Colorado Avalanche for the LockedOn Podcast Network.
By the way, I'm going to go find an engineer.
That's a good idea. I am going to sit here and handle this interview because that's what the talent does. Kyle freaking Sullivan. What's up, fella?
Living the dream. How are you, my friend?
Oh, just another day in paradise, buddy. Another day in paradise. For those of you that are not on the stream with us, you should be. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, or search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure you go follow Kyle at Shaggy Von Doom on all the social medias because he covers the Avalanche, but my guy's a hockey guy. And I got to tell you, Kyle, if the NHL playoffs, if the Stanley Cup playoffs this year have not proven that the NHL has easily one of the best postseasons in sports, I don't know what to tell you because it was 5 Game 7s over the weekend. It was amazing.
Yeah, and it was not just 5 Game 7s. It was a Game 7 between a number 1 seed and a wild card team. There should have been no business for that series going 7, but that shows you the parity in the NHL right now and the quality of the product that you can have 5 Game 7s. And, of course, the Avalanche took care of business and they got to rest, which is vital when it comes to the playoffs. But you had some really entertaining series. There was not lopsided games all the way through. It was very tightly contested games from teams that you really didn't think had that chance and opportunity.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we were talking a little bit about the NBA earlier in the show with the Mavs knocking off the 1 seed Suns, which was a little bit of a shock to me. Over on the other side, I didn't think Miami was going to make a run there in the Eastern Conference Finals. But for the most part, with the Big Four, with the NFL, with the NBA, with Major League Baseball, it's usually chalk, right? We get the one upset and we're like, oh, what a Cinderella run. It's usually chalk. These NHL playoffs have been anything but, man, and it's great. Yeah, and
for the Edmonton Oilers series, for example, there is no business that the Kings should take that to 7. You have theoretically 2 of the best players in the game with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and you have this young, scrappy, upstart Kings team. They don't. The Kings that everyone knows, those days are going away. This is a new, scrappy team. And even though Jonathan Quick is in goal for Los Angeles, on paper, there is no reason that should go to 7, but it did. And it's what you want to see, really. You want to see the youth going against, the best, and there be an even chance for both teams to take it to the next round.
We're talking to Kyle Sullivan. He hosts LockedOn Avalanche for the LockedOn Podcast Network, talking some Stanley Cup playoffs. And let's talk about that sweep. Daryl Sutter, the coach of the Flames, said before the playoffs started, anybody playing Colorado, it's just a waste of 8 days. All right, so then my Nashville Predators get hooked up with Colorado. And I'm like, all right, man, listen, Nashville's a scrappy team. I think there's a little bit of attitude. And on top of that, you tell a group of hockey players, you've got no shot. That's the team that scares me the most. Oh, they had no shot. They had no shot at all. So was this more Nashville was out of their depth, or was this more Daryl Sutter's right and Colorado's just that good?
Yes to both. And I will give it to you 2 ways. Nashville, there was, going into the playoffs, there was that fight for that last wild card spot. And those teams, honestly, you knew if you got Colorado, it was not going to be good. Colorado's built differently this year. They have seen the exit in the second round for the past couple of years. Like, it's not just enough to have a Nathan McKinnon or a Gabe Landeskog being your sole source for offensive power. We say it all the time on the show, me and my co-host Chris Maselli, we say it all the time. This team is built like shark tooth teeth, like depth. You knock the first line out, here comes the second, and they're just as potent. The same with the third and the fourth. And that's what Joe Sakic addressed at the trade deadline this year with getting Arturi Lankinen, Cogliano, Manson, and Sturm. It's depth that you need. It's not, and you could see in that series that we were talking about with Edmonton and LA, it's not just enough to have a McDavid. You have to have depth. And Los Angeles has depth, and Colorado has premium depth.
We're talking to Kyle Sullivan from the LockedOn Podcast Network. Let's talk about let's stick on that side of the bracket for right now. The Wild v. St. Louis, one of only I think two other series that did not come down to a Game 7. St. Louis wins that one 4-2. And I enjoyed watching St. Louis because that might have been the most business suit and tie approach. I mean, Minnesota took a couple of games for him, but when it came down to play hockey, St. Louis just looked like a team that was out to play hockey. They didn't see, and I don't know how else to say this, didn't feel like there was a ton of hype and emotion. They just showed up to play hockey and suit and tied their way through the back half of that series.
Yeah, and this is where we talked about depth being vital to the playoffs experience also. It wasn't too many years ago that St. Louis went all the way and as a Cinderella won the Stanley Cup. And a lot of that experience is still there. And you have like experience now with Brandon Saad joining the team. Like St. Louis is built like they have the experience. And Jordan Bennington, in my opinion, isn't even the best goalie on this squad. I think Husso is honestly the better goaltender for St. Louis. But with that goalie tandem that they have and the experience they have, like the young teams like Minnesota, who's still reeling from buying out 2 expensive contracts, this isn't their year. But keep an eye on Minnesota in maybe 2 or 3 years when they finally put things together.
We're talking to Kyle Sullivan from the LockedOn Podcast Network. A little Stanley Cup update. Texter on our Preferred Home Services text line says, I'm watching on the stream and it looks like Kyle lives in an Avalanche cavern. What a room. It looks like you live like in the Avalanche merch store, my guy. Like you've got them all on the wall. That's a hockey bro.
Yeah, this is the Temple of Doom. This is where I like to be.
I love it. I love it. Lonzo and I have the Fortress of Nerditude. He's got the Temple of Hockey Doom. That's why we all get along. All right. You talked about Edmonton a second ago taking on LA, and I mean, that was just a good series. Now, I got to watch most of that because here on the East Coast, every one of those games dropped at 10 freaking o'clock at the nighttime.
Yeah.
So that was actually, funny enough, the series I got to watch the most hockey out of from start to finish. I got to tell you, you said a couple of times it should not have been what it was. That might have been my favorite series of the first round because you had two teams that would just not stop beating the hell out of each other.
And it was incredible to see because, like, you have Quinton Byfield. You have a lot of young, good players for LA. And it's one of those that when you see the matchups ahead of time, you think, well, okay, Edmonton are 4 or 5. With that talent, there's no way. The problem for Edmonton is they don't have a solid goalie. So you have that imbalance of incredible forward depth, but you have lackluster goalies. And which one it's been don't break for Edmonton. And honestly, that's what got them by. But again, like Minnesota, keep your eyes out for LA. This is not going to be the last time you talk about them.
All right, let's go over to the other side of the bracket and start with this, an all-Florida series in the second round as the Panthers and the Lightning. Of course, the Lightning coming off back-to-back Stanley Cup championships, but the Panthers come in as the number 1 seed. First off, as we all know, the powerhouse of hockey that is the state of Florida, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go Sunshine State. Interesting here. I think a lot of folks thought that Tampa would fall off. They got lucky and drew the Toronto cannot figure out how to win a playoff series Maple Leafs. 18 consecutive dropped playoff series. That's unbelievable. But then up top, you've got the Florida Panthers, by the way, the affiliate of our own Greenville Swamp Rabbits, still alive in this thing, the number 1 overall seed. Break that series down for me because I think it's got legendary potential with a couple of Florida teams playing out a rivalry that really has never felt like a rivalry, despite the fact that you got 2 teams, same state, right up the road from each other. It's got a chance to bear one here.
Yeah, with Tampa and Florida, I mean, honestly, it's a dream matchup, especially like the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning facing off with the President's Trophy winning Florida Panthers of this year. Like all season long, the narrative has been Colorado Avalanche, Florida Panthers, they're the same team. And with the acquisition of Claude Giroux at the trade deadline, where he chose that's where he wanted to go, like you felt like Florida was validated. Like this is actually a solid team where somebody believes enough in the DNA of this team to go win a cup there. And that's Claude Giroux's whole MO this year. And it was kind of concerning to see them drop 2 to the Capitals. But again, they have a lot on their shoulders. And this is the year to prove it. Like, I think Florida has the ability to go all the way, but they have to put it together and get past teams that make them play a game that's not Florida Panthers hockey.
Yeah, they did drop a couple to the Caps. Toronto took Tampa Bay to Game 7. The winner of that series will face the winner of the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. The Rangers, by the way, who knocked off Pittsburgh. And what a series between Carolina and Boston. Boston, the only NHL team, Kyle, that I do not like. And it's not even that I do not like Boston. It's just that I, like every other red-blooded American, hate Brad Marchand. I would fist fight him. And he'd kill me, but I'd fist fight him. That being said, Carolina's chances to honestly make a run at the Stanley Cup, knowing they've got the Rangers there, knowing that they've got maybe the best team in the NHL, Florida, waiting for them in the next round, Carolina's legit chances at a Stanley Cup championship are blank.
Riding on the health of their goalies. Carolina suffered some like kind of concerning injuries when it came to the goalies. Can they keep them healthy? That's honestly going to be the key for Carolina because the Rangers are good. They're scary goods. The Benajad will break your heart in a heartbeat. And can they maintain? That's going to be the key. Like Carolina's talented. Don't get me wrong. It's just what will their goalies do? Because once you lose your top 1 or 2, you're struggling from there. And this is not the point of the season you want to be struggling. So Carolina can do it if the team holds up.
We are talking to Kyle Sullivan from the LockedOn Podcast Network. You can find him on the social medias at Shaggy Von Doom. He covers the Avalanche, but you're not going to find a guy who knows hockey more than Kyle Sullivan, so make sure you go follow him. He will be back on probably next week because we got 2 more rounds of hockey to talk about before we get to Lord Stanley's Cup Championship. Kyle, my man, great to have you, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll do it again real soon, pal.
It was an honor to be here, my friend.
Always. I mean, that's a little dramatic, but I like it. I'm going to take it. Talk to you next time, big fella. That is Kyle Sullivan, and we are back right after this on The Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonzo, this is the Fan Upstate. Let me tell you about my friends at Harley Davidson. All right. Apparently, Sasha Banks has unfollowed everybody from WWE on Twitter. Drama.
All right. In order to do what was suggested, we're going to have to go out fairly early.
That's fine. For this next segment?
No, we're only going to do the last break.
Okay.
So this break was made longer.
Yep.
We may be going out like 52, something like that. I just need to do the math. Also, you have a QC Kinetics in that break.
10-4.
Got to realize how long these breaks are, period.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I know we had, because I didn't start talking to Kyle, 18?
when we would have went to break.
Yeah. So I didn't want to.
Chances are it may be around 52, so it may just be a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
We're going to come back now, though.
For those of you that do hang out with us on the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or by searching at The Rob Brown Show on YouTube and subscribing to that channel and watching the stream, you just saw the exact type of behind-the-scenes atmosphere you get to experience because we broke our computer. No, our computer broke itself. We didn't do anything. The computer broke itself. It's having a bad day. It took it out on the great one.
He says we as he's looking at me. No, just an error happened.
Yeah, the computer broke itself.
Which I have don't believe I've ever seen before. So
what did it do? It just like turned off.
It said
I'm done.
It said error, and then started to shut down. There was a button there that I clicked to try to stop it from shutting down, and it
did
said
not work.
no. And then I was told I could have pushed a button and it still would have worked because it's wired back there. As I pointed out to engineering, I did push a button. You saw me push it.
I did. I saw you panic push it.
It wasn't panic. It was, let's see what happens if I push this button. And nothing happened. So,
Fair enough.
It's live radio. That's what you do.
It is live radio. The best kind of radio, if you ask me. So thanks to Kyle Sullivan for coming on, talking some hockey with us. Little Lord Stanley Cup playoffs. Big fan. Yeah, I think it just takes watching hockey to get into hockey. There's so many people just go, I'm just not going to watch it. I'm just not a hockey guy. This Stanley Cup playoffs has been good. Been real, real good. 5 Game 7s in 2 days. The NBA doesn't give us 5 Game 7s throughout the entire playoffs most of the time. NHL gave us 5 in 2 days. Spectacular. All right. Texter says, Rob, how are you a Predators fan? Anyway, let's go mother blanking Canes. I'll tell you real quick why I'm a Preds fan. About 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I went to Nash Vegas, Tennessee. Went on down to Tennessee. Took and at the time, girlfriend's friend had a wedding just outside of Nashville. And so we decided, let's make a trip out of it, right? Let's make a whole thing. So we went to Nash Vegas, baby. And did all the touristy stuff. You know, we did Broadway right down the middle of downtown. We went to the Orange Peel. We went to, obviously, we took a tour of the Ryman. Did all the old country music stuff, right? And so I fell in love with Nashville. Nashville is like New Orleans, but with country instead of jazz. And I loved it. Had a great time. You can walk into any bar in Nashville at 10 o'clock in the morning and see 3 musicians that are infinitely better than most of the crap that comes across your radio now. Love Nashville. Well, at the time, I had a friend, actually 2 friends of mine that I graduated high school with that were both on the PR and media relations team for the Nashville Predators. And they invited me, Mickey and AJ, they invited me to come to a game. Well, the night of the Predators game that weekend just happened to coincide with the night that the, at the time, girlfriend had a bachelorette party. I forgot how to say words for a second there. Had a bachelorette party. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to be solo anyway. I'll go to the game. So I showed up early. They're like, come out early. We'll get you hooked up. We'll take you on a tour of the facility, et cetera, et cetera. I went, word, okay. So I showed up, and first they gave me a tour around the outside of Bridgestone Arena. And what fascinated me about it was there was a live concert at all 4 corners of the building, right? All 4 corners of the building, there was a live concert going on. I'm like, yo, that's genuine. That's legit. I like that. I like that. Then they had a huge banner on the side of the building that said, welcome to Smashville. I just like the slogan. I'm already in. They bring me into the game, into the stadium, give me a tour of the locker room, show me around, etc. And, you know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But it's more just like, oh, I'm behind the scenes. Isn't this cool? My job's great. Show me around the stadium, and then they put me into a box for the game. Because I was riding solo. They're like, you got any friend? I'm like, girlfriend's at a bachelorette party. I'm here solo. I'll just sit wherever. Just give me nosebleeds, whatever. They're like, no, we got you. They put me in a box. They put me in the owner's box because he wasn't there. So they just kind of gave it out to whoever. Anyway, they put us in the owner's box, and like 2 boxes down from me was the offensive line of the Tennessee Titans. The offensive line of the Tennessee Titans, after the 3rd Preds goal that was scored, picked up a catfish. Now, I don't know where the hell they got the catfish, right? Lonzo, when I say a catfish, I mean a catfish they needed both hands to hold. The thing was a beast.
You mean the kind of fish that Diesel catches?
Yeah,
okay.
Catfish.
All right.
But like
big ones, yeah.
Big catfish, like needed 2 hands catfish. They pick up the catfish. One of them goes like he's going to kiss the catfish. And then a Tennessee offensive lineman on both sides pour a full beer into the gills of the catfish, which the guy holding the catfish chugs through the mouth of the catfish. The Nashville Predators have a college football game environment built around hockey.
Wait, was the fish alive?
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
Just because from what I understand, those things, the catfish have those things that sting a little bit?
The barbs?
Yeah, those
things. Yeah, but I think freshwater cats don't.
Okay, because I was just wondering if those were removed before you. I mean, because you're taking a risk drinking that out if those things are still there.
All I know is there were about 7 very large gentlemen holding up a very large fish, chugging 2 beers poured through the gills of the catfish out of the catfish's mouth. Between that and the music and everything going around, I fell in love, man. I fell in love. I was like, this is awesome. This is fantastic.
All right, so if they offered, would you?
Yeah.
You would have.
Mm-hmm. In that moment, yeah. Like right now, thinking about it like 6 years later, I'm like, I don't know. But at that moment, if the Tennessee Titans offensive line was like, hey, bro, let's go Preds up 3-0. It's catfish brewski time. Are you in? I'd have had to say yeah. I'm not saying it speaks highly of me. I'm just saying I would have done it.
I am not surprised by your answer, but you're an in the moment kind of guy. So,
yes, I am. Texter says, by default, as a Greenvillian, we should cheer for the Panthers, right? I don't know. I think you can go either one, right? I think you can go Panthers. The Panthers are the affiliate of the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, so I think you can go Panthers because there are guys from our team that could end up on that squad, or you could go Carolina Hurricanes.
By the way, those rules are set by another show for that show, and those rules don't apply. Root for who you want to root for.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a hockey team, if you were asking me who should I root for, I do not have a hockey team, but I'm intrigued that I want to get into the playoffs because you, Rob Brown, have made the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs sound amazing. And if Rob says don't miss out on them, I want to make sure I'm a part of it. But I don't have a team. Rob, who should I root for? Well, the Florida Panthers are the team that the Greenville Swamp Rabbits are an affiliate of. So if the boys from our squad make it to the show, that's the team they'll be dressing up for. The other option, of course, would be the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, I will tell you why I'm a Hurricanes guy. I'm a Hurricanes guy because Don Cherry, who used to be an NHL talking head, the Carolina Hurricanes, after they win games, after hockey games, there's a tradition, which is the home team will skate out to the circle, to the face-off circle, as a team, and they will raise their sticks and they'll salute the crowd, right? Like, thanks for coming out and supporting us. Carolina Hurricanes decided to take that to the next level, and they do wholesale celebrations, right? For instance, the player that owns the 1 star, Lonzo, will take his stick and slam it into the ice as if it is the hammer Mjolnir, and the rest of the team will then throw themselves backwards from the explosion. Or the guy that wins the 1st star will skate out onto the hockey rink with a basketball and do a dunk on skates on like a lowered basketball rim. I mean, they're just funny. They're great. Well, a couple of years back, Don Cherry was talking about this team because Don Cherry was very, very upset. Very, very upset that the Canes, instead of doing the traditional raised stick salute, did something else for the fans, and he referred to them all as a bunch of jerks. Referred to them all as a bunch of jerks. Well, the very next series, Lonzo, you could buy a shirt made by and sold by the Carolina Hurricanes that said "bunch of jerks" with the Canes logo as the E in the shirt. They just leaned into it. They embraced it. Yeah, we're the bunch of jerks. How dare we have fun playing hockey? And I loved it. I bought all in. I would say the only thing that the Carolina Hurricanes did wrong was putting themselves so far north in North Carolina that they have made themselves relatively inaccessible to folks in South Carolina, right? Like, I want to go to a Carolina Hurricanes game, and I will. But they play in Raleigh, and how far is Raleigh from here, Lonzo? Like 6 hours? 5.5, 6 hours?
Yeah, it's a pretty good haul.
It's like 5.5 hours. 4.5 hours.
All right, depends on who's driving. It's
Lonzo's driving. It's a solid
distance.
2 hours, like 2.5.
Yeah, things blur.
Look. The only mistake that they made was putting that team so far north that I can't, right? I can make a weekend, I can make a day trip out of the Panthers, right? If the Panthers play on a Thursday night, I can justify driving to Charlotte for a football game. I can do that with the Hornets. I can do that with Charlotte FC. Granted, putting the hockey team in Charlotte probably wasn't an option, but is there no other places between here and Raleigh that could have supported a hockey team like Raleigh, North Carolina? Right? I like that they just went Carolina Hurricanes. I like that they did the 2 states, 1 team thing. I think that's the right move. But it's just inaccessible. If I'm gonna go to a Carolina Hurricanes game, it's got to be like a whole weekend thing. I can't just go for a game. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Other than that, if it can't be the Preds, go Canes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's 2 hours in the books. When we come back, I got a few more stories for you, including the Atlanta Braves are haunted. And I mean that both by injuries and maybe actual ghost. My favorite Phil Mickelson story and more. I'm Rob. He's Zoe. This is the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate.
QC.
Let me tell you about my friends at QC Kinetics, ladies and gentlemen. QC Kinetics is fantastic. Why? Because you are going to suffer from joint pain. It is not a maybe. It's not an if, it's a win. You are going to suffer from joint pain. That's just the reality of being alive. It's just a thing, yeah? You're going to suffer from joint pain. You're going to have to deal with joint pain. And you're not going to want to get sliced and diced. That's another reality, right? None of us wants to go through surgery. None of us want to go through surgery. It's just what they're going to tell you have to do. Well, before you agree to that, I want you to call my friends at QC Kinetics in Greenville and Asheville. So wherever you are, they have got a QC Kinetics close to you. I want you to call QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. I want you to mention the Rob Brown Show. And when you do, you're going to get a free consultation with my friends at QC Kinetics. And when you get that consultation, they are going to tell you how their natural therapy will help you regenerate, restore, heal that worn down connective tissue in your joints. It gets rid of the inflammation. It gets rid of the pain. It gets rid of the fear of the pain. Call them, 864-448-3772. Again, mention the Rob Brown Show. Get your first consultation for free or visit them online at qckinetics.com, QCKINETIX.com. It's our friends at QC Kinetics.
This time we're going to go a little over.
It's all good. The only one that has to hit is the very last one, right?
Wasn't sure how long.
Yeah.
Sullivan have 2 L's.
Yes.
Never mind, I timed it right. From what I saw, his room was pretty cool.
It was really cool.
It was a little occupied, but as soon as you pointed it out, I was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty neat.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. Good to be with you once again. I am Rob Brown, the Wizard of Wave, the Professor of Perfection. The great one, Lonzo, is on the ones and twos as he is every day. Got one texter who is a very passionate Carolina Canes fan who is begging. Listen, I'm on board with the Canes, all right? If there's one language that both Lonzo and I are very fluent in, it's sarcasm. We are both lovers of sarcasm. And the Canes having that attitude is amazing. I'm in. I'm a hockey guy anyway. I didn't need a reason to be a Canes guy, but they gave me one anyway, so I stay on board. All right, a couple more stories I wanted to get to. Horse controversy. Ladies and gentlemen.
So not basketball horse, but actual.
Yeah, like a horse.
Oh, we're talking athletes.
Like a horse.
Talking athletes.
Yeah, I'm talking about horses.
Athletics.
Horses.
Star athletes.
A horse. So there's a horse.
I was hoping you'd go Mr. Ed there, but you probably don't know who that is. So.
A horse is a horse. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. Ed.
All right, so I've been put in my place.
at some point you stop trying me like that.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm wondering how much of the audience actually knows what you just did. It wasn't black and white. So
it wasn't black and white. That was my impression of Mr. Ed.
Or a fish. I mean, you know.
I feel like I nailed it. I embarrassed myself a lot. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I come to you asking you, please, next year, when May rolls around, when you start getting all of the Kentucky Derby party invites, please do invite me to your Kentucky Derby party. I will come for a good party. Sure. I'm in. Please do not try to convince me that you or anybody else cares about horse racing. Why are you bringing this up, Rob? The Derby is over. I'm glad you asked. Hypothetical listener I made up for this exact situation. I am talking about it because it has been announced that Kentucky Derby long shot winner Rich Strike will not run in the Preakness Stakes on May 21st. Don't try to convince me that I should care about horse racing when the owners of the horse don't care about horse racing. They care about the money of it. Now, don't get me wrong, I got no issue with that. There's no point in investing in horse racing if you don't care about, well, pretty much ROI, return on the investment of the horses.
Unless you have disposable income and you go, that's easy.
Yeah.
Watch, I'll just go buy a horse and we'll win the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, which, by the way, will win you a lot of money. Right? Don't try to convince me that anybody cares about horse racing when the fact is the owners of the horses don't care about horse racing. Rick Dawson said, quote, our original plan for Rich Strike was contingent on the Kentucky Derby. Should we not run in the Derby, we would point toward the Preakness. Should we run in the Derby, subject to the race outcome and the condition of our horse, we would give him more recovery time and rest and run in the Belmont or another race and stay on course to run with 5 or 6 weeks rest between races. All right. Look. The horse runs, how long, Lonzo? 2 minutes? The most exciting 2 minutes in sports?
Yeah, like I know. Oh, yeah, I think it's 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And they're like, oh, we need to give the horse 6 weeks before we run 2 minutes.
Plus, 2.5 hours of pre and 2.5 hours of post game.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. We need to give the horse 6 weeks to get ready for the 2 minutes of running. You have a chance to not only become the second largest horse racing underdog to ever win the Derby, but to make history and be a Triple Crown winner, right? We've only got a few of those. Here's your chance to be a Triple Crown winner. And they're like, nah, we would rather hold off on that and just try to win in the whatever, what's the last one? Belmont, whatever. Who cares? Nobody cares. None of you care. You don't care. The guys that own the horse don't care. The horse itself doesn't care. Right? What did the horse get done? Biggest race of its lifetime. What did the horse decide to do? I'm going to try to eat my competitors. Horse don't care. Jockey don't care. Oh, by the way, LOLs. Kentucky Derby winning jockey Sonny Leon is serving a suspension for careless riding. Leon rode Rich Strike to victory at Churchill Downs on Saturday after the horse was entered as a late replacement for a horse that was scratched. This week, Leon's serving a 4-day suspension for careless riding during an April 27th race at Ohio's Thistledown Racecourse. It is the 5th suspension for the Derby winner since last fall. 3 of those suspensions were for careless riding. He's been suspended 32 days since last September.
Is that like reckless driving in a car? What is careless driving? Do you stand up in the saddle? I don't. What is that?
I don't know. And do you know why I don't know? Because I do not care about horse racing. None of you know. None of you know. None of you knew this was a story. This might be the biggest story in horse racing. And none of you knew that it was happening. Why? Because you don't care about horse racing. Stop telling me that you do for 4 days a year every year. The winning jockey of the Kentucky Derby just ate his 5th suspension in 6 months, and none of you knew about it because none of you care about horse racing. None of you. It's a good excuse for a party and nothing else. While I'm doing stupid stories,
I'm trying to find the careless writing thing. The first thing that came up was Careless Whisper, and now it's in my head. But, that's fine. Should have known better, Rob.
The Atlanta Braves are in Milwaukee for a set against the Brewers. Well, on Monday, they showed up to the Pfister Hotel. Lonzo, Pfister. How you pronounce that?
I'm going to go with Feaster.
Feaster? Pfister?
Yeah.
Fister?
You're thinking Pfizer, so I can see why you went
Yeah.
with I don't know.
Feaster. They showed up to a hotel. The hotel, when they showed up, Brian Snicker said that on Monday, team's getting ready to get ready for the game. It's mid-morning. They're getting their lives together before they head down to the ballpark to take on the Brewers Monday night. Snicker said, by mid-morning, I was thinking if I don't hurry up and get in the shower, all the hot water's going to be gone. And it was. I took a cold shower, but I had water. In other parts of the place, the water went out when the power did. Now, water went out, power went out at a hotel. I mean, it's newsworthy in that if you're staying at a hotel, you likely have something to do in the area, right? You're there for business or a vacation or whatever, but you got something to do. And it's kind of a bummer that the water and the power would go out late on a Monday morning, except for the 129-year-old Pfister Hotel is apparently a haunted location well known amongst Major League Baseball players because not only did the Braves have a number of players believe that this was based on the paranormal, but Bryce Harper, current MLB All-Star caliber player, Michael Young, former Atlanta Brave Pablo Sandoval, all players who have claimed that they have encountered ghosts at Milwaukee's Pfister Hotel. J.R. Radcliffe wrote a story talking about this hotel. He said St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Carlos Martinez expressed concern about ghosts at Milwaukee's historic Pfister Hotel on Instagram late last Wednesday. He is nowhere near the first visiting MLB player to feel the effects of the supernatural in Milwaukee. Top MLB players such as Justin Upton and Eric Gagne have said they do not sleep well in the hotel, which opened up in 1893 and is perhaps the most high-profile hotel in the city. In 2001, Adrian Beltre claimed that he heard repeated knocking at his door while staying at the Pfister, even though the TV and air conditioner were turned off. 2008, Carlos Gomez did not stay overnight at the hotel, decided to get his own accommodation, saying, quote, everything is scary, everything in the hotel, the paintings and pictures, it's a lot of old crazy stuff. No good, man, no good.
Everything is scary.
Everything is scary. Mike Cameron said he's had no experiences at the Pfister, but he has heard so many stories from other players, he refuses to stay there. 2009, Brendan Ryan said it was more like a moving light that kind of passed through the room. The room got a little chillier when it happened. Pablo Sandoval said that back in 2019, quote, when I went to take a shower and I remember putting my iPod next to a speaker, when I came out it was playing music and I have no idea why. Michael Young, quote, a couple of years ago, I was laying in bed after a night game and I was out. My room was locked, but I heard these footsteps inside my room stomping around. Bryce Harper, quote, I laid a pair of jeans and a shirt on the table at the foot of the bed. When I woke up in the morning, I swear on everything, the clothes were on the floor and the table was on the opposite side of the room. Brandon Phillips said that when he got into the room, our radio was on. Quote, so I turned it off and I got in the shower. When I got out of the shower, the radio was on again. Ji-Man Choi said that he was laying in bed and reported feeling the presence of a spirit in the bed with him. Pedro Alvarez experienced weirdness at the hotel. Weirdness, end quote. He said it matched up with the story told in 2016 by Pirates manager Clint Hurdle. Hurdle didn't name names, but said one of his players became spooked when a TV in his room turned on and off multiple times in one night. And finally, Rockies pitcher John Gray got a chance to ghost hunt in the Pfister back in 2016. And his results said ultimately that there was some sort of paranormal activity within the hotel.
So the one thing that I noticed you discounted most was the feeling of weirdness. You've never just felt weird?
Sure, but I don't immediately chalk it up to supernatural.
That odd feeling like, man, what is going on? And you don't. All right, so I'm thinking road trip, and we could broadcast live from there. As long as Samuel L. Jackson is not the hotel manager. Because I don't know if you saw the movie 1408 with John Cusack, a writer, if I recall, very science-minded like yourself, going to disprove a haunting type thing, and it didn't end well.
Yeah, because it was a movie.
But I'm willing to go there with you to protect you. So we're good.
Don't need protection from things that don't happen.
Okay, well,
here's what I
very
love
true.
about this story. Here's what I have. If I'm an MLB club, if I'm an MLB franchise, I've figured out what I do. I've got my competitive advantage right here, right? I've got my competitive advantage, and it's this. Whatever city I'm in, the official hotel of the whatever I am's, coincidentally, is going to be the oldest hotel in that city. And all I'm going to do is rig it up with TVs that just turn on and off, right? I'm going to rig it up so that low vibration frequency sounds go through and trigger that sense of doom that, they scientifically are proven to do. I'm going to set it up where I have remote controls that I can just turn on and off people's iPads and radios throughout the night, because I can get away with all of this because apparently baseball players just go, something weird happened, must be a ghost.
You could probably do all that, but in order to make sure all that happens, you would actually have to have cameras in the rooms so you can see when the players are in there, and I believe that's not legal.
No. I know a baseball player at 3 a.m. is going to be in his room, right? There's no baseball players that.
Well, it depends on who it is. Some of them are players.
Fair enough. During a series of night games, they're likely going to be in the room at 3 a.m. So I'll just rig 1 or 2 TVs, right? Because here's the thing. I don't need every player to believe that their room is haunted. I just need one of them to genuinely believe the hotel's haunted, because one of them wakes up the next day and goes, dudes, my clothes were on the floor. My TV turned on. The radio turned on. I heard knocking sounds in the walls. It was a ghost. And apparently every other Major League Baseball fan, or scratch that player, goes, oh, well, then, based on that one thing, ghosts are definitely real and haunting our team, right? So I'm going to rig up in the walls just a little thing that connects to the wall that every, 6 days does that 3 times throughout the course of the night. I'm going to rig up one TV on a reverse, my TV at the house, so I don't know if yours has got this. I got a timer on a remote. I can push the thing, and it's like, do you want me to turn off in 90 minutes, 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
Most new TVs do that, so yeah.
So I'm just going to rig up a reverse one of those and tell it, every 6 days, I want you to turn on at 3:30 in the morning, and then off, and then on at 4:30 in the morning, and then off. And that's it. That's it. I'm going to put as many creepy old dead guy photos on every wall as I can find. And then I'm going to go like, oh, these were all the civic leaders of this community back in the day. But it's like, it's just random pictures of dead guys from the Old West, right? I'm going to rig up all of this in my hotel because apparently when you get signed to a Major League Baseball contract, you just lose your mind.
I have to agree with Keegan on the stream. You're going straight up Scooby-Doo.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Yeah, and when they go to remove the mask of the monster, it is Rob Brown.
Yes. Yes, and I'd have gotten away for it. And the scratch that, there's not even a sign of, and I would have gotten away with it, but I would get away with it because every Major League Baseball player is like, oh yeah, definitely a ghost. Definitely a ghost.
So if things would suddenly start to move in our office or turn on and turn off and things like that, you would immediately start to look for the explanation as to why that's going on.
First off, I wouldn't need to look. It's you or Chris. There's my explanation. I work with Lonzo and Chris. That's it. That's the explanation. Maybe Diesel, but I doubt it. But it would be coworkers. Now, I'll tell you a real quick story. Do I have time? Yeah, I got it. It's a 2-minute story. When I was like, I don't know, 11, 12 years old, my parents took me and my little brother to Vicksburg, Mississippi. Vicksburg, Mississippi, beautiful little town, but it was the site of a major siege during the Civil War. And the reason why is Vicksburg sits on a bluff that a bend of a major river, it like wraps around Vicksburg. And so if you held the bluff, boats could not get past that chunk of river because basically you could put cannons on the top of the bluff looking down at the river and you could blow to hell any boat that was coming along the curve of the river. So Vicksburg was massively important because you controlled the river if you control Vicksburg. Well, when the Civil War started, obviously being in Mississippi, it was a Confederate territory. The Union came in. They put a massive siege on Vicksburg that lasted for like a month and a half before finally Vicksburg fell. Well, during the time, up on top of the hill, there was one major plantation home. And during the siege, that plantation home effectively got taken over by the Confederates to be used as an HQ/hospital/morgue, right? So while the siege is happening, the Union soldiers are just shelling this mansion. The Confederates are using it as an HQ/the bottom, the basement, a hospital. Anyway, siege ends. Lots of Confederate soldiers die there defending Vicksburg. They leave. After they leave, the original owners of the house go back to owning the house. But because of the fact that they helped the Union break the siege, right? Because they wanted it to end. They helped the Union break the siege. They were viewed by people in Vicksburg as traitors to the Confederacy. And family members started to die, including one who was shot on the staircase. Well, years later.
Just die.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, got killed.
Okay.
On the staircase, murdered. Well, years later, it is now a bed and breakfast, right? I think it's called Shady Oaks. You can go look up the story online. I think it's called Shady Oaks. Anyway, it got turned into a bed and breakfast. My parents took me and my little brother to Vicksburg, and we stayed there.
For that reason, or you were there for something else?
No, I think we were just going to Vicksburg, and then my dad was like, yo, this sounds kind of cool. Let's try it, right? So we get there. And the very first night we're there, we're eating dinner in the bed and breakfast. And inside of the old parlor, they've built like 4 tables for people to eat. And there's like a bar built in. And but the guy behind the bar is, he's spinning tales to me and my little brother, who are 11 and 8 or whatever we were, about, oh yeah, this ghost and that ghost, and down in the hospital or down in the basements where the hospital was, and they were, amputating Confederate soldiers' legs off, and they were dying from blood loss, so they got ghosts down there. And what room are you guys in? Oh, the one at the top of the stairs. Yeah, the brother of the owner or uncle or somebody of the owner got shot and killed right outside of your door. And if you listen real careful at night, you'll hear his footsteps going up. And then you'll hear a really muffled gunshot. And that's the ghost reenacting his murder. And at 11, I'm like, no. No, it's not. No. Nope. Nope.
Does your brother also share your disbelief for the supernatural?
I don't actually know. We haven't really ever gotten to it since this happened. All right. So let me end the story because we're way over the clock. We're in the room. It's like 2 a.m. And I am convinced that I hear boom, 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 coming up the stairs. And at this point, I'm like, oh, okay, ghost. And then I'm convinced that I hear from wherever. I'm like, definitely a ghost. And so at, I think it was like 11, whatever age I was, my response to that moment, right? My response to that moment was, because it was a Civil War era Confederate ghost, Lonzo, my response was to turn on BET. Because I'm like, I don't know how else to drive out this racist old ghost. So my little brother and I turned on hip hop albums on the TV. I figured that's how I get rid of a racist ghost. It's got to work. So I get up the next morning.
Man, you could be in trouble for saying that.
I don't. What? The ghost was a racist ghost.
Anyway.
Anyway, play it. Whatever. Don't hear any more
There's
noises.
sensitivity when it comes to what they call the War of Northern Aggression. So
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I gotta say
Bring the heat.
that is the way to counter it, though.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, that's got to be it, right? So the next morning, I go downstairs and I'm like talking to the guy, the same guy behind the bar, and he's like, "Did you hear it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I heard it. I heard the footsteps. I heard the gunshot. Blah 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 blah." And for years, I carried that like that must have been it, right? I heard the ghost get murdered again by somebody else. And then I realized, nah, dude, I just heard somebody get up, go to the bathroom, flush the toilet, and go back to bed. That's what I heard. Because the house is big and echoey and open, and you can hear anything happen in the house from anywhere else in the house. I just heard somebody get up, go to the bathroom, flush the toilet, and go back to sleep.
Or a front desk dude put on his heavy shoes.
That's it. Or I heard somebody just walking around downstairs going, these kids. But I will say this. I told the guy what happened and my defense mechanism, and I don't think I've ever seen a human being laugh as hard as he did. So that's one of my favorite stories to this day. It's also where I stopped believing in ghosts. Because I realized that dude played me like a fiddle. But it was awesome at the moment. Let me take a break. Come back after this. I got actual sports to talk about on the Rob Brown Show. Baseball players, ghosts aren't real. The other team is just screwing with you. This is the Fan Upstate.
I'm disappointed there are no chemtrails out there right now. Maybe in the next half hour we could have some. So if you know someone, make it happen just because it bothers Rob. I think he gets offended when he looks out and sees chemtrails. But now we know that there are actually aliens in the chemtrails because of the website that he found earlier that we're going to be watching. I don't want to say religiously because that would be offensive to some people. I just want to say that we're going to be watching a lot of it. It was Bruce, I believe, that is.
Oh yeah.
Is Bruce?
Yeah, Bruce sees all.
Bruce sees all.
Bruce sees all. There are cities on the moon. You know,
So what would they be lunar beings? I mean, what would they be called if you live on the moon? And if you live on the moon, chances are you don't call the moon. It's probably got its own name.
Chances are you probably don't speak English, what with the whole not being from Earth.
Right. It might be a language that we cannot pronounce, but there'll be a translation somewhere. But I mean, so yeah, people who live on the moon or whatever being they may be would not call it the moon, I don't think.
Cities on the moon.
Unless
Hundreds.
Unless you believe that the pyramids were actually put here by aliens. And if so, then they probably came here from the moon or also possibly lived on the moon for a while,
Or
tried to terraform it, didn't work.
Hear me out here. None of this happened. And people just get encouraged by really bad History Channel shows that shouldn't exist.
So you're just thinking someone decided, hey, let's make that into a triangle or, several triangles that form a pyramid. Oh, no, it's obviously aliens.
Or people aren't idiots and found it out that the strongest structural shape in architecture is the triangle.
Is it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
100%.
By the way, if you didn't recognize it, that's the haughty voice. I just want to let you guys know that. That's what that is. I hear that on occasion. It makes me feel lesser than, but it makes me want to strive to someday achieve that voice. And even though I know I probably can't, but as we heard earlier, just because you believe doesn't mean you can actually achieve. So, I mean, lessons learned on today's program.
You are making me out to be a monster right now, Mike.
Did you not say it?
I did say it.
Yeah, you did say it.
Right. If you live on the moon, text in and let us know what you prefer to be called.
Yeah. We don't want to be offensive by calling you lunar beings or, moon babies or what. I don't know.
Moonanites.
Ooh, they might be okay with that. But if there are moon knights, that means they're possibly violent.
There was an old cartoon called Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I have heard of it.
Moonanites came from.
Okay.
One of my favorite shows.
It was on Adult Swim, and it was like, okay, this is stupid.
Look at you.
In order for us to put in liners for appointment radio, which you need to take care of, we've got to have appointment radio, whether I like it or not.
I completely forgot. I didn't even have one prepared. I'm going to have to just grab one on the fly here, Lonzo.
Yeah, it's Tuesday, and I'm just doing my job, man.
Yeah.
Just doing my job.
We got caught up in discussions about Ghost and a YouTuber who claims that there are cities on the moon, and he's got a telescope that lets him see them. And I got to tell you, the closer we get to noon, the more excited I am to go into the office and watch Bruce sees all.
What do you think Bruce's voice is like, though?
Uh,
I hope he has a haughty voice. I hope so.
he's going to.
Yeah, or
he's going to. He's going to be like,
What's
up, YouTube?
Yeah.
My name's Bruce.
Yeah, he looks more like that kind of guy, not the kind of guy who's a high-pitched thing comes out of. Yeah.
Hey, guys. My name is Bruce. and I'm here to show you the things that the government doesn't want you to see.
When I saw him, I thought Woody Harrelson. I can't help it from
I can see it.
from 2012.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. All right. Let's see. Here's a couple of different things. I like this one because my goodness. My goodness. All right. Let's see here. Young lady is married to a gentleman. She says, I have to admit that my husband's mom favors him over all his other siblings. He's the golden child of this. Most of his siblings don't talk to him, and I 100% believe it's because his mom favorites him all the time. She constantly makes excuses for his behavior when he's out of line, etc., etc. Well, she said that I love him very much, and because I really wanted to be able to work things out without letting them affect our marriage, we decided to go on a vacation, just the two of us. I told him that we needed space, we needed to be able to talk, etc., etc. Well, she said that the husband was not a fan of it, but agreed to go so that they could work on the marriage. She said that while they were gone, she feels like they've made some progress, that they kind of were able to talk through some of their issues, etc. She said, we got back to where we live, and as soon as we touched down, mom's waiting at the airport. We never agreed that she would be there to pick us up. We never said, I just assumed we were going to Uber home from the airport, get a cab, whatever. There's mom. She said we get in the car, and son then begins to tell mom everything that happened on the trip. Here's what we talked about, and here's what we decided, and here's how we're going to work this out, including the stuff that daughter said about mom being too overbearing. She says, now mom's upset. Son is trapped in a weird spot. She doesn't feel like she can talk to either one of them. Face or heel is the husband, Lonzo.
He's absolutely the heel, because there are things, when you leave home and you become an adult or adult, depending on where your socioeconomic status is, adult or rich, your mom becomes, maybe a confidant to some degree, maybe someone to go to for some, advice, things like that, but you don't tell her everything, and you don't touch down and then immediately say, here's what we did. And you don't go, hey mom, you know what my wife said about you? You just don't, that's just not, that's the definition of mama's boy. Not that that's a bad thing, but in this case it is, because you got to let that stuff go, dude, and be your own guy.
Yeah, dude, you're the heel. Dude, you're the heel. Like, so I get it. I have told people before, and I'm not embarrassed by it. I am very close to my mom. Remain close to my mom. Will stay close to my mom. She's the most important person in the world to me. However,
yeah, hopefully I didn't say anything to upset her today.
No, not at all.
I do that on occasion.
Not at all. More often than not, when you make fun of me, she laughs and agrees. Anyway, very close to my mom. Will remain close to my mom. Big fan of my mom. There's also points where, like, I will get advice from the madre. But there's also points where it's like, nah, dude, this is like, it's your life, Bubba. Like, you got to handle this. And if you've got a problem with the wife, you and the wife handle it, right? And if the wife has a problem with the mom, you either handle it, so it's not a problem anymore. You go, it's going to remain a problem, and I'm going to ask you guys to be adults and get over it. Or you just go, sorry, this isn't going to work because mom's more important than you. Make a pick. But, like, to immediately come back from this vacation and go, mommy, like, that's a problem, right? That's a problem. All right, here's one. 17-year-old guy is getting money out of inheritance from his dad. His dad passed away about a year ago, and dad had some cashola. Well, mom, in the past, had cheated on the old man with the guy who is now stepdad, right? So mom cheats on dad, leaves dad for stepdad. Her and stepdad live together, but they don't really have a ton of money, right? Dad passed away. The bio dad passed away. Dad left an inheritance for the kid. Says that I'm also getting survivor's benefits that my mom uses for me when I need things. So it's not like she has been using the inheritance or has not been using the inheritance. So I thought. She said, Mom and stepdad just bought a house that we moved into. It was weird for me because we always lived in a 3-bedroom apartment. Stepdad is a substitute teacher. Mom's a part-time receptionist. They never really even had enough money to go on a nice vacation or something, but all of a sudden, they have a large house out of nowhere. My mom looked guilty about it until she finally admitted that they used the chunk of what my dad left me to buy the house. They tried to justify that it was for me too. I asked them, does that mean they're moving out when I'm 18 and the house is in my name? And they said, no, that's what I thought. Supposedly, the house was for me, but I will only live there a few months. And they said they would keep it. There is still some money left, just enough for me to go to a cheap college, but they use most of it for something on themselves. That amount could have helped me get my own house. I think it's funny, since my stepdad didn't like my dad because I was spending more time with him, that meant my mom had to spend. My mom received very little in child support. Mom has told the kid, your dad didn't pay child support, so this is pretty much the payment, right? This is my child support that I didn't get from your dad. And I bought this house with the intention of you being able to live here until you are ready to go off to college with the rest of the inheritance. I am trying to use this money to give you your best shot at getting into a good college by having a nice, stable house, etc. And dad never gave me the money here. The son said apparently the last time the stepdad stepped in and said something and said, awful big talk from you who's standing in my house. AKA the house purchased with my money, not yours. Is the kid the face or the heel here for that comment?
All right. The real heel here is the dad who died. I knew it was going to throw you a little bit. Here's why he's the heel.
Okay.
Because in his will, he wasn't specific for the lawyer to release the money only to the son. So there's a reason why were no longer together before he died. He knew what the mom was, how she was, so he had to know that she would do this with the money. So the heel is the dad who died, because even though he had the smarts to leave the money for his son, he didn't specifically tell the lawyer, no one can touch this but him.
You know what? That's fair. That's absolutely fair. You dropped one on me at the end. I was not prepared, but I think you nailed it. He should have been smarter about the way that he left the money and the accessibility of it. That's a good call. You got to know in that spot, if assuming, and again, I don't know the relationship he had with mom. I have known people in the past that have gotten divorced, in a really ugly divorce, and then years down the road, they're like, they're amicable, in some cases, maybe even friends. Or friendly, at least. Well,
then leave the money to her. Don't leave it to him. If you're leaving it specifically to him, you make it to where he's the only one who can access it.
I mean, now the only case I can think of that it would work this way was left a kid in some sort of trust until he's 18 that mom was the executor on, under the assumption that the kid's 17 already.
Well, then,
just don't spend his money in a year.
Well, then the money is in the bank and can't be touched until he's 18. You hear about that stuff happening all the time.
But like if it was an executor in the way that mom was allowed to use the money until he was 18, in which case it's only his money. You've got a point. You've absolutely got a point. Absolutely got a point. All right. Oh, you know what? When we come back, I got genuine breaking news. Genuine breaking news when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Golf cart.
I have zero copy for this.
All right, we'll skip it. I'll send you an email.
I'll make it up.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, back on sale, the 2022 Upstate Golf Card is here. You go to upstategolfcard.com. You grab yourself an Upstate Golf Card. You get the opportunity to play 10 courses around the upstate, all 18 holes, and just in time for Father's Day, the card's on sale for $75. It is the perfect Father's Day gift. Give Pops the gift of green. And I'm talking golf, not money, but it is going to save a bunch of money because it's like $8 a round. It's like $8 a round to play golf with the 2022 Upstate Golf Card. You go online right now to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com. $75 for Father's Day. Get you around at the club in Brookstone and Rolling Green and Greer and Legacy Pines and Pebble Creek and the Preserve Verde and Willow Creek, which I just played Sunday and had a great time, by the way, and The Rock and Links to Tryon and Carolina Springs Golf Club. Go online to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com, and get yours today. It's the 2022 Upstate Golf Card. Oh. Okay, we're doing this again. Trey, if a hot dog has chili on it, it is a chili dog.
Chili dog.
That's a chili dog. A hot dog with chili is a chili dog, right? It just is. That's the definition of a chili dog. A lot of hay. Lady, what's with the questions, huh? Just get in the car. Are you a like a hot shower guy or like a super hot shower guy?
Depends on the
Definition of both.
no, it depends on the time of day.
I got you.
After doing cardio in the morning, super hot
Yeah.
because I'm already heated anyway. If you just come straight up out of bed, going in there, it's probably going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sorry, Trey. Blame Steven.
So, a little breaking. That's good. I like how you did that. The Rob Brown Show presents some breaking news brought to you by our friends at BetQL and BetQL.com. Go to BetQL.com. Be a better, be smarter, beat the books, and listen to the nationally syndicated Bet for the Cycle every Saturday, 1 to 5, with me and former MLB player Cody Decker to win some dollars. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. This breaking news is being reported by Mark Burns. He is a senior sports reporter for the Morning Consult, also works at Belmont Law. He is reporting. Lonzo, you'll know this name, even though it's a soccer story. Lionel Messi will acquire 35% of Major League Soccer's Inter Miami club and join their team starting next summer. Leo Messi, arguably the greatest soccer player on planet Earth, or at least at one point was.
I was going to say, how old is he now? He's like in his 30s, right?
I know, ancient. Let's see. Leo Messi is 34. I mean, look, he's not the player he was 27.
See, I don't know what prime is for soccer, but considering the cardio you have to play the sport, I would guess it would be somewhere about 24, 25, something like that.
Yeah, 34 is not going to be as good as 24. It's 27. I mean, for some guys, they actually mature better towards the end of the 20s, but very few are going to play. That being said, Leo Messi's still one of the best soccer players on the planet. And to have him come to MLS, to have him come play ball in our league is enormous, right? Because he's the type of face that gets the eyeballs of the rest of the soccer universe to turn towards us. He's the type, he's got the chops, right? He's got the face, the name recognition, etc., that gets the rest of the world to go, okay, eyes on the MLS, right? And it's not so much that Leo Messi is going to show up just to like wave to the American fans for a season and leave, which he probably will. For me, the best part is there's some good soccer players in the MLS. There's some good soccer in the MLS. And to have Leo Messi there gives it a camera view it's never gotten before, right? It puts them out there in a way that MLS players have never gotten to be exposed to the rest of the world before. That's big time. That's great. That's great news. In putting Messi into an MLS jersey, players in Argentina, players in fans in France and España, Deutschland. These are all places that are now going to go, well, let's see what Messi's doing in America, right? And gives an opportunity for some young players to break out just a little bit. Good on it. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Sorry about ruining Twitter trending topics, Lonzo, but that's big news for us soccer fans. That's big news. Jim Rome takes you into the jungle next, then Diesel and Mark Ryan up after that for Offsides. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow to do it all over again on the South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. He's the great Lonzo. I'm Rob. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. All right, dudes.